This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout, freebets.com. Delighted today to be joined with Skye Nicolson. Just finished some sparring there here at the iBox gym in Bromley. 2 weeks away now, not far at all from a big fight, first world title fight for yourself. So how's the feelings there? How did you enjoy the sparring? And so just tapering off now before the big fight.
Yeah, it was one of my last spars. We've only got a couple of spars left now. I feel like everything's coming together perfectly. I feel strong, I feel ready. Camp's gone perfectly. And yeah, I can't wait. April 6th, not long now.
I was going to say, this is something that you've wanted for a while, something I suppose you've dreamed of for a long time. To finally have that world title shot and actually, I suppose, it be there in the flesh. How has that been for you and the excitement, I suppose, of fighting someone like Sarah Mahfoud?
Yeah, I mean, she was the next best we could get, obviously, after the Serrano fight didn't happen. I feel so ready. I feel like everything has led to this moment and everything's happened at the right time. I've had the right fights and I feel more than ready to get the job done.
And obviously, it's exciting to fight someone like Sarah Mahfoud when you know that'll arguably the pro career so far, your hardest fight. So is there some excitement with that? Is there a fear factor in a way, knowing that all the pressures that come with it?
No fear. I've said from the start, the better the opponent, the better the Skye Nicolson you're going to see.
I had no idea what that was there. Yeah, no clue there. But yeah, no idea what that was. But yeah, I suppose, yeah, is there no real fear factor for yourself?
Definitely no fear. I feel like I am improving every single fight. I feel like you're going to see a better Skye Nicolson than you've ever seen before on April 6th. And I plan to do it in style. I plan to make a big statement in this win against a very good opponent in Sarah Mahfoud. So no, I can't wait. I'm ready.
I was going to say there, with Sarah Mahfoud, her only defeat being Amanda Serrano, and obviously yourself fighting her, and Serrano's the fight that you'd end up liking. We'll get onto that in a minute. But it's a sort of that aim to try and do better than Serrano. Is that the idea going into this fight? Yeah,
I think the Serrano fight with Sarah Mahfoud was 97-93 across the board. Yeah. That's not happening on April 6th. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Fair enough. And you know, it is whilst it is a world title fight, and that is something that you've wanted. Is there a little bit of a disappointment that it isn't Amanda Serrano, or is it just the world title was the most important thing for yourself?
Look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I can only fight who they can put in front of me. Obviously, that was the dream fight, and to have been boxing for undisputed in my 10th fight, I think would have been legendary. But it didn't happen. It is what it is. I'm definitely not looking past Sarah Mahfoud. I've got a good opponent in front of me for April 6th, and it's for the prestigious, the best belt, in my opinion, the WBC world title. So for me, it's all eyes on that, fully focused on the job, and then we can look and see what we do next after that.
I was going to say, you're still confident that fight could eventually end up happening then? I
hope so. I'm ready. I'm waiting. Like I said, I can only fight who they put in front of me. I want the best. I want to fight the best. I feel like I'm constantly saying it, but it's true. I wanted the Serrano fight. I wanted the Serrano fight in my 8th fight, 9th fight. Now we're having my 10th fight, maybe 11th fight. Who knows? But I want that fight. I want the belts. So I'm going to keep pushing for that.
And just, I suppose, with Serrano, she is trying to make the play with 12 threes, and I know we were obviously chatting a little bit off camera about it. Ideally, you know, if it had to be like that, you'd be willing to do 12 threes?
12 threes suits my style. Yeah. I'm a patient fighter. I love the longer rounds. For me, it makes sense. For women's boxing, I personally don't agree. Yeah. I think for women's boxing, the depth of women's boxing, I think 10-2s has been really good for the growth of women's boxing. It's kept women's boxing exciting, and you've seen the women's fights steal the show time and time again, and I think that is down to the 2-minute rounds. For me personally, I love 3-minute rounds. Yeah. For the growth of women's boxing, not so much. If the only way to fight her was over 3-minute rounds, sign me up. Yeah.
And with this obviously being a world title fight, and in your most important fight so far in your professional career, you've had important fights in the amateurs, but do you ever sense like a change in mentality when in camp? Like, you know, this one's like this means a little bit extra more, and this is really, I suppose, something that you can sink your teeth into. You may say you can treat every fight the same, but this one must be extra special. So do you feel like there's that change in mentality?
I think after every fight when I come back to camp, I dial in even more. I think every fight I treat as even more important than the last, and I think I feel personally I go all in every fight camp, but I find more every camp, and I've definitely found more this camp. We've gone to new levels again, and I feel like I'm constantly leveling up every single fight. I think that's shown in my performances, and I think it's definitely going to show in this next performance. It's shown throughout this whole camp. I've had some great sparring sessions this camp. We're implementing a lot of new stuff, and I'm really excited to just show the world what I've been doing and what I can do.
And you saying that there about trying to find the levels up, how important is that in your own motivation, that you can see that you're getting better? And I suppose it's nice for people to notice it as well, but the main thing being that yourself, that you feel like I'm trying these new challenges, new challenges in myself every camp that make me feel better. I suppose how important is that intrinsic motivation for yourself?
It's so exciting. I get really excited when I try new stuff now and it works. I feel like I'm backing myself so much more. I'm more aggressive, I'm more dominant in the ring, I'm walking girls down, and I feel really strong, I feel powerful, and people are noticing it, people are telling me. The people that are coming and seeing me spar, my team around me, are seeing that shift, and I think a lot of it might be mental, it might be just that I'm backing myself now and have that more confidence to come forward, to put it on my opponents when I've hurt them. Just little tiny things that I think are going to make a huge difference in my fights.
And keeping on the topic of mentality, and we know that you was obviously an Olympian, you've been to the Olympics, and I've previously touched on a previous interview of yourself before, but when the Olympic dream didn't work out, and even being at the Olympics it not working out, how was that change in mentality that you was all in on the pro game, and now the change from potentially Olympic dream to then like world title dream? Like, if you go what was that like to change that?
I have said in previous interviews, I feel like that decision around the middle of last year, leading into the camp for my fight against Perez, and then obviously my fight against Hart in the back end of the year, there was a huge shift for me when I had officially made that decision to put the unfinished business with the Olympics to bed. I'm done with it. I'm okay with what happened. It is what it is, and now I'm all in on my pro career. I feel like the shift has just snowballed since then. So it's been about 8-9 months since that decision was officially made, and it's been this ongoing momentum of getting better and better and being so laser focused on becoming the best professional boxer and professional fighter that I can be. And we're seeing those changes, we're seeing those improvements. So the shift from the Olympic dream to the world title dream was obviously very natural. When I went all in on my pro career, obviously the belts became my Olympic gold medal. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like April 6th is one little ring, one little Olympic ring, and I want them all.
Yeah. I was going to say, was that ever hard for you to really let go? Because in your amateur career, all of it really, you have great accomplishments as an amateur, but the main ones that people will look at will be the Olympics, and not having let go of that. How difficult was that to accept? But also letting go of that, but understand that the pro career is also there as well.
Honestly, it broke my heart. Anyone who knows me knows that it broke my heart, but look at what I'm doing now. Yeah. And people say to me all the time, don't you wish you just had that Olympic medal? It's like, yeah, but what are they doing? And what am I doing?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Who's relevant?
Yeah. I did want to get onto the Olympic, when it comes to an Olympic pathway and having a lengthy amateur career yourself, sign with Matchroom, everything that you've achieved so far. And it's usually something that I'd ask a lot of people on GB, and it's obviously right to ask you as well. Whenever there's someone on GB, there's always this sort of connotation, not that they've had an easy route, but they've almost had a silver spoon in a sense. Mm-hmm. But realistically, like whoever, there's no disrespect to the guys that box on small hall and have to come up that way, but that route is even hard, is just as hard as an amateur when you're traveling all about having hard fights. So, do you ever find that annoying when that sort of the Olympic route and the heavy amateur route, just using GB for example, do you find it annoying when it gets disrespected?
I find a lot of opinions that I haven't asked for annoying, yes. Yeah. For me, I know in myself that I haven't had anything easy. Yeah. I've been boxing since I was 12 years old. I had 150 amateur fights around the world. I box out of my comfort zone, away from my home country, time and time again. I'm boxing against opponents in their own backyard, time and time again. Yes, I am truly blessed. I've signed to the best promotional company in the world. I've had the opportunity to box on amazing cards in amazing venues. Yeah. But to say I'm spoiled or have had the easy route, I think is very unfair to say. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I want the big fights. I want the hard fights. Yeah. Hard fights, we'll see. But I want to fight the best. Yeah. And it's not a matter of the easiest way to get there. I want them now. I wanted them 3, 4, 5 fights ago. So for me, I'm not, there's always going to be, someone's always going to say something, no matter what you're doing, no matter how well you're doing, how successful you are. So yes, it's annoying, but I know in myself that I haven't had anything easy, and I work very hard for everything that I achieve.
And when you hear those opinions from other people, and I know that it's easy to sort of block out criticism, but block out haters or whatever they may be, or whatever place that they have. Do you feel like you've learned, especially as a pro career now, when you did get shifted into the limelight very early on, that you've sort of learned on the job in a sense, and from where you are now, you're mature from sort of all the the hate or whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? Like that's molded you in, and it's, I suppose, works in a benefit now.
No, yeah, I feel like I did have to learn quite early on in my pro career that there is this quite nasty side that comes with being a professional boxer and being in the limelight and having these opportunities and experiences. You are going to be a victim of jealous people, of angry people. But no, for me, I have definitely learned to deal with that and learn to block it out, as you say. Not even block it out, I don't even read it most of the time. Like, I post and get off socials. And I hate all the interviews always focusing on all of the negative comments and feedback, because I have so much love and support on social media as well. And I hate giving the attention to those trolls because it's literally what they want. They want your energy and they want your attention. And I get so much positive love, support from people all around the world, which I truly appreciate, and they deserve the attention, in my opinion, because they don't have to go on there and write the nice things that they write, and they do, and I appreciate that. And as for the sad, lonely people that feel the need to try and tear down someone trying to do something good, I feel sorry for them.
So we'll focus on positive things now after that. Sorry for bringing it up. But you now fighting for a world title and hopefully, God willing, being a world champion on April the 7th. Do you feel like whilst that is a great feeling and you'd appreciate that feeling of first becoming a world champion, there's part of you that manifested this and that you knew that one day you was always meant to be here?
I feel like my whole journey has felt like that. Like every time I achieve something or I'm doing something big in my career, I feel like this whole path has just already been written for me and I'm just like living it. It's weird to think about, but I feel like I am just living my destiny, and I do believe I am destined to become world champion on April 6th.
And obviously it's in Vegas, and you have travelled all around the world, but haven't travelled to Vegas or fought in Vegas yet. Excited, I suppose, for that feeling as well, and it won't be as carnage as a non-fight when you go there. No,
I am really excited. I feel like my first world title fight in Las Vegas, it's quite iconic. And I do feel very blessed to have this opportunity. I'm very excited for the opportunity. Vegas, baby. Yeah. Let's go.
For sure. And we'll focus on positive stuff now, because you have obviously asked for it. And being from Australia and being I suppose being a female role model and influence there, what's that like for you? Seeing that there's a female world champion in the featherweight division from Australia, hopefully there would be.
I mean, we've had a few female world champions, and I feel like
You'd be the latest one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm excited to be part of that movement and to be one of those girls that the younger generations are looking up to and aspiring to be like. So for me, like, I know I have an important job as a role model for young girls, not just in Australia, but around the world. And I think, like, a lot of athletes have a really important position in shaping the lives of a lot of young girls and young boys and girls. So I take that responsibility quite seriously as well, and I try to be a really good role model for those younger girls, and I'm really excited. I'm seeing some like really good stuff coming. I follow quite a lot of the young girl boxers in Australia, and they are killing it. Like the growth of female boxing is huge, and I think, like we were talking about a bit off camera, like women's boxing's in its infancy, and where it's going to be in the next 10, 20 years is very, very exciting, and I'm really, like, I'm proud to be part of that movement.
And we were talking off camera there about Australia boxing in itself. Whilst that is coming on leaps and bounds, you still think that there is still a long way to go. But I suppose excited to be on that journey as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Australian boxing community, all we want to do is get more eyes on the sport. And I think that has been Australia's biggest struggle. We're a very big country, a very small population, and it makes it really hard to get the backing and support that the athletes need. So the stuff that we're doing around the world is to try and grow boxing back in Australia and to bring big fights back to Australia. I know Tszyu is obviously leading the way for Australian boxing right now. It's getting Australian boxing on the map and going to hopefully bring big fights to Australia. But that's what I want to do as well. Like, for me, the dream would be to fight for Undisputed against Amanda Serrano in Australia.
Well, so you mentioned it there. You aren't the only Australian that's conquering America at the moment. You mentioned him, Tszyu. He is fighting Seb Fundora, a late replacement, which is some late replacement. No, in stature and in size. Excited for that fight, and I'm sure you'll be obviously backing Tim to do the business.
Yeah, for sure. David and Goliath, obviously. I'm really excited. I'm glad. I'm actually going to be in Vegas. It's the week before my fight, so I get in just in time. So I'll be there, loud and proud for the Aussie. I definitely backed him, and I take my hat off to him taking this fight, like literally a week's notice, against a 6'5", I think he is, giant.
Southpaw as well.
Southpaw. But I feel like Tim rises to the occasion. He's very, very good at what he does. He's all in. And yeah, I see him getting the victory next weekend.
Well, just as we do close this off, what happens to Sarah Mahfoud on April 6th in Las Vegas?
Like I said, there's no 97-93 happening here. The way I'm boxing right now, I don't see the fight going the distance. If the fight does happen to go the distance, 190, low 90s.
Yeah. Absolutely. Skye, thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really, really good to catch up with you. Enjoy watching that sparring as well. So I do appreciate taking time for me to come down to the gym. And yeah, all the best on April the 6th in Las Vegas. Cheers. Thank you.